Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I have to say, this movie was kind of not what I was expecting. I was expecting something a little bit more, how should I say, a little bit more, I was expecting more of the kingdom, I guess. And by the way, spoilers for this movie. That's a given for these, but I just wanted to, because I think it's still in theaters right now, so I think the best thing to do is to warn you, spoilers if you haven't watched it yet. But anyways, I just kind of, what I expected the movie to be and what it actually was were two very different things, so that's on me. That's definitely on me. Now, the movie itself, it starts off by introducing our main character named Noah, N-O-A, no H. I almost messed that up. But anyways, Noah is apparently going on this climb, and there are so many things we learn about his character by just watching him, which is the best thing in the world. We see what his social circle is like. We see kind of how clever and crafty he is and can be. And those are very good qualities, very impressive things that I enjoyed about what he does. And seeing him navigate this half, urban / nature area was very, it was more nature, but you could tell that it's kind of mixed in with the buildings and the city and whatnot. So it's kind of here and there. I don't know. It's a little weird. But anyways, we see him being smart and crafty. We see him kind of, he's really smart. He's clever. He's capable of thinking quick on his feet or coming up with solutions to problems. So there's a point at the beginning where him and his group go to collect these eggs. They have to wait for the bird to leave, and then they can go look at the nest and see if they have enough eggs. Disappointingly, they don't have enough eggs for all of them, and they have to leave one egg in the nest. So there were 3 eggs. 2 of them could take eggs, but one of them needed to stay behind. You know what I mean? Because that's technically a rule. You don't take the whole thing. You leave one. So then Noah's like, man, I don't get an egg. But then he looks up and he sees that there's perhaps another nest. There's another spot where I can get an egg for myself. So he goes and he has to climb up there. But the problem is the distance or the height gap between where he is and the level to get up to the next nest. He needs to, there's no sure footing or sure climbing route to get up there. So he's like, oh man, you know what I mean? What do I do? So he grabs this metal pole, and then he jumps and he stabs the building as hard as he can so that way it sticks. Then he jumps on top of it, pulls it out, and then he stabs it again so he could go higher. And then he gets up there. That was the kind of clever wit and quick thinking that I enjoyed seeing. I was like, that's such a clever solution. And he surprised his friends, and it's like a clear sign of how smart he is, how capable he is, what he's willing to do to achieve his goals. He's dedicated and smart, and he can do it. So he gets up there and he gets an egg for himself, and he's like, victory! We did it. I'm going to have my own egg. We're going to do the ritual. It's going to be the whole thing, right? And we're kind of introduced to this bird, hawk, falcon, this eagle clan, so to speak. And they we technically see how they live amongst the birds, or they use birds as their eyes, or, I'm not entirely sure, but they're kind of like a group of bird gatherers, I guess. I don't know, dude. It's unclear to me what they really technically use them for. I guess they could use them for eggs. You know what I mean? They could eat. But I'm trying to think what they... I don't know. exploration, maybe they could tell what's going on out there, or navigation, maybe extra set of eyes. It's really unclear what they do with the birds. I mean, it's kind of clear, it's unclear, but let's just say it's just a part of their culture. This is what they were raised to do or whatnot. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember all that well of like, this is why we raise the birds and this is why we take care of them. It's more so like, we have these birds and we raise them because, you know, we need something extra. I'm not entirely sure, but they're cool. It's nice. And so this story kind of picks up years after Caesar passed away. And so I'm pretty sure it's like, I think I read like an article or I read like a post that said it was like 300 years after Caesar died. So I think that's a good gap of time. You know what I mean? I think that's a great gap of time. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, if it's so far apart, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to tell like what there are certain aspects that are kind of like, maybe it's not that far out, you know, but maybe some years, you know what I mean? Who knows? Anyways, we see this Eagle clan get invaded, all right? So just to jump ahead here, okay? There were some points in between that I may have missed out on. The Eagle clan, Noah's clan, calls humans echoes because they're kind of like, I don't know. I honestly have no idea why they call them echoes. Maybe it's because of the sound they make in the tunnel, or because they're kind of like a copy of them, but they're not really them, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But they call humans echoes. And essentially, Noah's up late at night with his egg, and he's kind of like, look at my egg. It's a lovely egg. I'm so excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a big day, big day. Then he notices the human, which is played by a girl. I forget her name. I'll remember it eventually, but the girl is like kind of like foraging for food or stealing food, trying to survive, and then she pushes Noah. Now he's wearing like this satchel, like this sack, like in the front of his chest or like near his stomach area, and she pushes him, and then she breaks his egg, and now he's like, no, now I don't have an egg for the ritual tomorrow, and now it's all ruined. So he's like, I gotta go find a new one. So he goes out of his new way. And that's also to say that she was also there when he got his egg, and she stole like a blanket from him and his group, like him and his friends. And so he kind of told his father, who's the leader of the clan, and he's like, we found an echo while we were getting our eggs. And then they sent a search party to go look for her. And then she came back to the village and stole food. And then after taking food, oh, that's what the eagles are for. They get fish, don't they? Like they catch fish and they bring it back. So it's all about food. Okay, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Man, I can't believe I messed it up. But anyways, she steals some food. She dips. She pushes Noah, breaks his egg, and he's like, darn, now I have to get a new egg. So the search party that was out to find the echo gets invaded by this other group of apes. And essentially they're trying to find this new clan and claim them for the kingdom. And the key phrase that they use is, for Caesar. So as they're burning down the whole village, as they're taking everything down, as they're like kind of killing people and torturing people and shocking them and then kidnapping them and kind of forcing them to work for the kingdom or taking them, right? It's all in Caesar's name because they're changing the way that things go. But Noah, long story short, his father dies in the invasion of his clan, and he was unable to save him. And so now he's like in a really bad spot. It's sad, really. It's a sad moment in reality, but he needs to get his mother, he needs to save his friends, his clan, and bring them back. Just like his father would have done, you know, for his father, to avenge him. So now he's got his whole family, his whole clan are prisoners, captives. They've been taken, so he has to go hunt them down and rescue them. This is the plan. This is what it's all about. So the mission is, all right, they couldn't have gone too far, you know what I mean? It's been the night, but morning, it's hard to gauge how the time difference, right? How long has he been knocked out for? How long have they been out? You know what I mean? So he'll probably be able to catch up within a few days, you know what I mean? Should he constantly be behind them. So for his first step is, I got to track them down. I got to find them. And kind of in the wreckage of everything, he finds one of those electric shocking sticks. You know, the ones that they used in the Rise of the Planet of the Apes? Something like that. It's just like a electricity stick. Just something to just like shock you with, right? So he's tracking the apes. He's kind of looking at their tracks, and he's going through like this tunnel, and he's like, now it's on to do what I have to do, you know? So it's the hero's journey. And along the journey, you meet some people. You meet some interesting folks. And who does Noah meet other than an orangutan? And this orangutan is called Raka. This orangutan is called Raka. And I gotta say, dude, I feel like I needed more Raka. I feel like I needed more moments. I definitely needed more dialogue from him. I definitely needed more background about him. I definitely needed more. I just needed more Raka, you know what I mean? But anyways, we meet Raka, and Raka is surprisingly a disciple of Caesar, or like he's one of the few that knows about Caesar, about the true Caesar, not this twisted version that the kingdom is kind of, or that their leader or their king or whatever has twisted his words into making him ruler, or to, you know what I'm saying? Like he's the one who understands what Caesar's true purpose and like words and ideology is, as opposed to this new guy, as opposed to the new leader whose name is Proximus. I'm just gonna go there, okay? Say his name, whatever. But Proximus is using Caesar's name as a means to quote unquote colonialize or to expand or to create this kingdom and him be the ruler of it. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to uniting apes and really caring about them and having a genuine love and compassion for them. He's using it as like a power dynamic of like, I'm the king, and together, if you follow me, we're strong. Something like that, you know, as opposed to all of us are capable. All of us are strong, with or without a king. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it just becomes really, really twisted. They change the meaning of Caesar's ways. And so Raka teaches Noah about Caesar. He's basically saying like, he was the first ape. He was the first ape to care about humans. He was the true leader. He was the one who kind of made us all what we are today. And, you know, he had love for humans. He cared about humans. He wanted humans and people to live together side by side. They did live side by side. There was a time in history when we were all together. And he kind of teaches Noah the ways of Caesar. And I really like that moment. It just feels like there was just so much to tell. And it doesn't feel like Raka tells all of it. You know what I'm saying? But now I understand it would have been like, oh, why would he say all of that when we already have the movies? It's like, it's easy for me to be like, yeah, he doesn't need to explain the whole thing, but I've seen all the movies. I know the story of Caesar. I know who Caesar actually is. But for this new character, Noah, I just kind of feel like he's not getting all the info, but he gets enough of it and he kind of processes it and understands it. Plus, I don't know how much he told them off camera, you know what I mean? Like the time between when they like cut in between scenes and whatnot, you know what I mean? So anyways, Raka and Noah, they're kind of friends. I mean, they're acquaintances, all right? They're friends, acquaintances, but they get to know each other. They understand each other, and they both have a dislike for this kingdom, for Proximus and his team. So now we come to the girl again. She is still following Noah, and she's following Noah mainly to survive. You know what I mean? Because he's somebody she can pick food from and clothing and whatnot. Like it's pretty easy for her to like survive through him. You know what I'm saying? It's like you stick to something that's a for sure thing that you can live off of. So we come to find out that this girl is not like the non-talking humankind. She's actually a really smart and intelligent girl. Like she's really clever. She isn't affected, quote unquote, by the disease or the what's it called? Or the other disease where it's like if you touch it, you kind of turn into an ape yourself, something like that. You know what I mean? None of that. She's completely healthy. She's fine. And she talks to them, and she kind of has this dialogue between them. And there's this confrontation between the two of them where it's like, hey, I'm smart, you know what I mean? My name is May. Her name is May, by the way. And she's basically telling them, like, I know where to go to find them. I'm trying to find some humans and da-da-da-da-da. And Raka takes a liking to her. Raka's kind of like, this is crazy. This is great. This is what Caesar would have wanted, living amongst humans. You know what I mean? Being around a human and living side by side and conversing and talking and having this great discourse. And Raka has been treating her nicely, giving her food when he can, clothing to stay warm. So essentially, May is trying to find... At first, I think her goal is to find humans, but later on, it's more aware of like what she's actually trying to get and whatnot. So she's out there, okay, and we kind of see them come across more humans, but I am unsure if these humans are the smart kind or the dumb kind. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're alive. I don't see them speak. Maybe I hear them scream. I don't know. But they look like they're just, primitive cavemen, all of them. You know what I mean? Unhealthy, unbathed. I mean, May's no picnic either. She's all dirty and messed up. But, like, I don't know. She doesn't look like as bad as they do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyways, they catch up to Proximus's group, or like not the group, but he comes across Noah, Raka, and May come across the humans, and the humans are being taken by the apes of the kingdom of Proximus. And so we kind of see that they're being hunted and taken away, and May is to be collected as well. So Raka and Noah are doing everything in their power to like save her and keep her from being kidnapped and taken, because I believe the assumption is that she'll be killed if she does. So they're trying to save her and protect her, and Noah comes across the gorilla or the ape that killed his father, and there's exchange of look between the two of them, and May calls out for Noah, and they run towards each other, and that's when you see that moment in the trailer where she's running, the gorilla's coming after her, Noah's on the horse, and then she grabs him by the arm, and then they both ride away. I guess that's the introduction to them finding out that she can speak, but I kind of skipped over all that part, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Long story short, May believes in mankind. She wants to bring it back from kind of the extinction that it is right now. So her true goal isn't really to find more humans, it's to find something to exclusive for humans. So then, after like a good hour and a half, we finally make it to the kingdom. Noah and Raka and May get taken at a bridge, and May falls into the water and is saved by Raka, and then Raka drowns. Can you believe this? I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way they killed Raka. I felt like they cut him so short. I was like, he didn't even get to explain everything. You know what I mean? He didn't even get to whatever. It just bothered me that he perished. I wanted to see a scene between him and maybe Proximus having a conversation about Caesar's ideology. Instead, they just make him drown. Well, I didn't actually see him die, but maybe he could make a comeback, but I'm just saying that, like, it's implied that he's gone. So then we see Noah get taken into the kingdom. We see May meet a man who is kind of serving Proximus. He's like reading to him historical books about wars and other kind of stuff. So, it's kind of like, He's working for the apes instead of helping or working for mankind or a way to save mankind, which is how May views things. So we see Noah reuniting with his mom. We see him reuniting with his clan and his friends, and we kind of see what Proximus is really doing here, what this kingdom is all about. And there's supposedly this gigantic vault full of all human things that he says. And these human things are what will expand Apes' mind and make them better and stronger and smarter. And Proximus' main goal is to open that vault. So every day we just see him try to find a new way to open the vault, how to get his kingdom to open the vault for him, to do things for him. Like, it's all about opening this vault. And May is kind of like, well, it's not yours, it belongs to humans. And then Proximus is like, well, it belongs to me now. And they have this debate. Noah kind of stays silent in the conversation. And I feel like there are so many moments where I kind of wanted Noah to speak up or do more, but I understand what he's working with. He's got to lay low and stay alive in order to get to the next part. So then we see that Noah and May are going to break into the vault. May has a way to get inside, or thinks of a way to get inside. So they kind of get the crew together, which is Noah and his two friends, to do like this climb over a waterfall or over a cliff, just like when they were getting the egg. And they have to break into the vault backwards, essentially, which is kind of like, I don't know why Proximus didn't think of this, but it is what it is. So as they break in, they kind of find all of these human things. We find guns, we find tanks, we find all of this great technology that could be of great use to humans, or like a military if like we had that kind of training and ability to learn. But essentially, this is like a beautiful time capsule, a beautiful place of knowledge to learn about how to be human, so to speak. They have like books for kids. They have all kinds of other books. They have the right technology, computers. I don't know how much stuff they have in there per se, but I'm just saying that's what it is. And as they break in there, Noah and his friends, they find some books. And they're kind of like, look, the letters have meaning, Noah tells them. And he finds a book on a zoo. And he sees that the humans are on the outside of the cage and that apes are on the inside of the cage. And he's like, oh no, humans are trying to cage us, like Proximus said. So it's like he's getting two halves of the same. He's getting the two different perspectives. The perspective of Raka and of like what Caesar really wanted is like, we can cohabitate. We can live side by side. That's Raka's and Caesar's kind of ideal world. But then Proximus's, Koba's, and a bunch of other fear of humans and our incessant need to be dominant is what pushes us against each other. Is that like, we're humans, we're better, we're stronger, we're the apex predator. We have to be at the top of the food chain, you know? So then, as they get all of the things that they need, May finds like this data chip, whatnot. She gets out of there, and this is odd. They exit through the front, which was like, okay, I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they just went through the back, but they exit through the front, and there's Proximus with Noah's mom and such. And so May's kind of like, yeah, Proximus, you can't have this. And you know what she does? She blows up the dam that's kind of like blocking. So there's like this high rise of water, and they keep building this dam or like this wall to protect the water from closing the vault completely. And she kind of just blows up the dam, and the water rushes in, and the vault gets filled. And as it gets filled, all of the apes are kind of struggling to survive. And that's when Noah confronts the gorilla that killed his father, and you know, he cleverly dodges and moves in a way where he can like slip and slide out of certain pipes and whatnot. And because of his size, he's so much smaller than the gorilla. It's like, I'm able to escape and be free. And the gorilla's kind of like, well, I can't move. I can't make it. And then he drowns, which is like victory. But I kind of wanted him to be a lot more quote unquote crafty. Not that he wasn't crafty. He was definitely swinging and moving and dodging and flipping and stuff. But I just kind of feel like, I don't know. I wanted him to be a little bit more smart. I feel like the smartest moment was at the beginning when he was going to get the egg. I haven't seen that level of craftiness since, but from him in this movie, I think. Even though he is smart, but I really like that opening sequence. So after all of that, Proximus survives, and he attacks Noah, and he's kind of like, screw you, Noah, this is my kingdom. I had the vault, and now we're screwed. Now I don't get any of the knowledge that I wanted, and now I don't even know what's going to happen, but all I know is I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to rule over my kingdom and own your clan and all this other stuff. And then Noah kind of starts singing the song of the birds, and the birds start attacking Proximus, and then he falls to his death. And then May and Noah kind of go their separate ways. And then May comes back and tells Noah, hey man, humankind is going to survive. We have to live. And then Noah's kind of like, does that mean that we have to be in cages? Does that mean that we don't get a say? Does that mean that we don't get to live our lives the way we want to? You know, so it's kind of like this back and forth of ideals. But we do know one thing. They were capable of having conversation, and they were capable of... The ape showed May great kindness, and May has to think about what the future of the world could look like. And then at the end of the movie, we see her kind of give her group the chip that she stole from the place, and that gives them the ability to like talk through satellites to other people across the world. And now it's kind of like looking like the rise of humankind again. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we where we are now, which is exciting. It's about a sequel coming up next. You know what I mean? And Noah's now the leader of his clan. He brought his clan back. He stopped the kingdom. So there was really less kingdom in this than I would have liked. I feel like I wanted, but these are just nitpicks. I thought the movie was great. I thought it was really good. And I liked the perspective of how, as time goes on, you lose the actual learnings and teachings of good apes, and you kind of twist it to make it your own, to satisfy your own needs. You know what I mean? Proximus's needs to be the smartest, or to be the most dominant, or to be the king. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, nitpicks. I feel like there could have been more moments where Caesar was crafty. Maybe he built like tools or traps and whatnot for the gorilla. I wanted him... I guess I wanted more discourse between him and Rocca. And maybe a discourse between Rocca and Proximus. I like the dynamic with May, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, I don't know, I felt like, what's the right word? I feel like her compassion comes from them saving her. And I just imagine, like, if they didn't use a girl for this movie, instead they used a man, what kind of differences would have been there? You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. I am excited for another movie, you know what I mean? If they decide to come out with one. But overall, when you're watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, be ready for some, I don't want to say mental gymnastics, but be ready for some ideological perspectives. You know what I mean? A new way of living. There's a new world that is about to change. You know what I'm saying? Humanity is going to continue to poke through and reach out and become different. You know what I mean? We're going to rise again, so to speak, or so we think. But yeah, I did enjoy this movie. Is it my favorite? Not really, but I know what they're going for. They're setting it up. You know what I mean? This is all set up for maybe another trilogy or another movie or something else down the line, which I'm okay with. So yeah, that's all. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.